Yeah, man, I'm playing it right now. Oh, it is freaking amazing. You know what's something really cool? The way they remodeled the EXP share in this game is that you gain XPs even if you don't battle.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, I got my freaking Ralts up to a Gardevoir in like under an hour. This shit is awesome.
Yeah, if we had that back in the day, we might actually be able to catch them all.
What was that?
Oh, you know, back when we tried to capture them all when we were little kids, but then we were too bored because we got to level up all the Pokemon. I'm just saying that EXP share was like, Matt, what the fuck? Oh, you still
Catch
there, bro?
them all?
Matt.
Every single one?
Pokemon game. Well, I'm gonna do just like the show says, and I'm gonna catch them all and become a Pokemon master! Wait a second. How do I get the Kanto starters in this game? Wait, what's time capsule? Wait, how do I get the legendary birds? Wait, what the heck's a GS ball?
No! I was too young. I was too foolish to comprehend that I could actually catch them all. This might be a child's game, but it sure knows how to fuck you over for the rest of your life. Well, you know what? It's 2013. I am a grown man, somewhat, that still plays Pokemon, but I don't care because I am going to catch them all.
And thus my nerdiness was assured for the rest of my natural life, and even beyond the grave. On my tombstone, when I die, it's going to read, Matthew Paul Crawford, birth date, death date, he attempted to catch all the Pokemon. And then it's going to have like little, like in Generation 6, because at that point there'll probably be like 1,000, 2,000, a billion, so at least he tried, right? You know, and I'm seriously going to try it. Mostly not just for the fact that, I've always wanted to do it ever since I was a little kid, you know, you're kind of conditioned to, but the reason is I paid $200 for this thing, and plus the $40 for the game, so I'm gonna milk it as much as I fucking can, alright? But let me just go into a little bit, of a rant here, okay? Because when we were little kids, and we got these games, you know, I got Pokemon Gold here, that was the first game I ever got, I have, Pokemon Red here, that's the second game I played, so I played them out of order. I played Generation 2 first. But, you know, back then in the day, the whole goal of the game, or so we thought, you know, because it was the thing that was on all their advertising slogans, I'm not really sure when the slogan changed to something else, but it used to be, gotta catch 'em all. And, you like, remember the Poke Rap?
Venomon, Poliwag, Nidorino, Golduck, Ivysaur, Grimer, Victreebel, Moltres, Nidoking, Farfetch'd, Abra, Jigglypuff, Kingler, Rhyhorn, Clefable, Wigglytuff. Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all, gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon!
Like, god damn, I remember, like, so many fond memories of my childhood watching that friggin' show, the Poke Rap, and it's conditioning you, go buy this game, and go catch them all. We had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. That was the biggest bait and switch the likes of the Marines and the Army have never used before. That's just like, oh yeah, kids, go pick up the Game Boy, pop in the cartridge, and you can go and collect all these little creatures out there, and it'll be so much fun, and it'll be so much, when you get it done, you'll feel so accomplished that you can go up to your friends and say, I caught them all. Well, let me tell you what, right now, not a single soul on that playground, park, or wherever else I hung out when I was 8 years old was able to say those words. I do not know a single person in real life that was able to say, I caught every single Pokemon, because it turned out to be one of the hardest things imaginable. And it's not just because of the simple, you might be thinking I'm thinking of like the simple reasons like some Pokemon can only evolve if you trade them, or some Pokemon you can only get in one version of the game, like you can't get a Meowth in version blue, you have to have, in version red, you have to have somebody to trade with for version blue. No. That's the easy shit. If you have somebody else that plays Pokemon with you, which I did, just none that lived immediately around me, but if I traded Pokemon over and I got evolutions that way, I'm talking like getting the other starters. Yeah, did you ever get around that conundrum? That was the first one I thought of. The second I picked up Pokemon Gold and it's saying these Pokemon's like inhabited by the whole world, you got to try to catch them all, and I'm thinking, alright, well, what about the other ones I couldn't get at the start of the game? Huh? Remember that? Remember back in Pokemon Red where you go and you pick up your Charmander, and then your freaking rival picks up Squirtle because he's an asshole that way, and then that poor little Bulbasaur is just sitting on that freaking table, and you know, go ahead, go and rummage in your basement and find your old copy of Pokemon Red, which is scratched to shit for some reason, pop that fucker into your Game Boy that somehow, and by some miracle, if it still works, go into Oak's lab, that Bulbasaur is still there, it's still lonely, Ball's probably filled with freaking Bulbasaur skeletons at this point, but yeah, it's still there. Did you know that there was supposed to be a third protagonist in the series? There was supposed to be a female trainer named Green, which was supposed to have the third Pokemon. But aside from that fact, I understand the reason they wouldn't let you pick up the last starter at the start of the game, because you'd have an unfair advantage. But, you know, that would make a perfect gift at the end of the game. Like, you become a champion, you go back to Pallet Town, and then Oak rewards you with giving you the Bulbasaur, or whatever the last Pokemon is you never picked. Because that would be a great way to, like, okay, well, here you go, you can have this one. Now start up your, now you can train it up, and you can, you can maybe try to catch them all. But just talking Pokemon, just talking Generation 1 alone, back when it was actually possible, somewhat, to catch every single Pokemon, because there was only 151. Well, to the untrained eye, there was 150, but to us pros, we know there was 151. And that's not even regarding your rival starter, you know, like, how are you going to get your hands on the Squirtle at that point? So, basically, the only way I figured this out is if the only way you can do it, because you don't have breeding in Generation 1, so you'd literally have to get 2 other people that had a Game Boy, that had the Squirtle and the Bulbasaur, and then trade it over all to you. You know, just give them all to you, because you're important. Like, give me the Bulbasaur, give me the Squirtle, fuck you guys, you can start a new game. I need this shit for my Pokedex. Seems kind of like the game is really trying to stretch it there. Like, I like those games that require you to have somebody else to finish it. You know, I understand the point, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's something that really they should have, like, that's just Generation 1, too. We're not talking to, like, the later ones where you have to worry about the starters, because the starters are usually the hardest Pokemon to get in any game, like the complete set. Like, for example, trying to get the Kanto starters in Gen 2, or trying to get the Kanto and Johto starters in Gen 3. Oh yeah, Gen 3, that was a joke, because you know what? If you had Emerald, and if you actually finished the Hoenn Pokedex, just the Hoenn Pokedex, Professor Birch, the shorts-wearing asshole that he is, rewards you with 1 of the Johto starters. 1 of the Johto starters. It's like, hey, yeah, Professor Birch, I just collected 100+ Pokemon, trained them like freaking crap, wasted days of my life. What do you got for me, bro? He's like, well, here, you can have a Johto starter, and oh, by the way, just keep an eye out for that National Dex. Oh, God, the National Dex, that was something, that was a joke, right? I don't know what it is about the Pokemon games, it's just like, you defeat the champion, you're like you can beat the game fairly quickly, you can finish the main campaign of a Pokemon game in about a day or two, very quickly if you have no life, or if you're a kid and you just predisposed, like, this is your life, is finishing off the game. So you can finish the whole plot of the game very quickly, and your reward for this is, here you go, man, have a National Dex. Have fun collecting the Pokemon. I'll be just sitting here. Oh, man. You know, it's really just a lousy payoff for a massive amount of effort you have to undertake. I mean, really, this is what I'm doing right now. There's 700+ Pokemon, okay, and I'm probably going to give up halfway. I've caught 200, but considering the fact that now we have the internet, we have Bulbapedia, and Bulbapedia is insanely helpful because it lets me know exactly how many Pokemon are in a certain area. You might call me crazy, but I actually find that kind of fun, where I go into a new route, pull up the Bulbapedia page, and I'm thinking, okay, I can catch, you know, these Pokemon here while surfing, these Pokemon while fishing. I have a little checklist. So that way I can know which ones I can get. I know Pokemon that I need to breed in order to get their pre-evolved forms. I know all that crap on Bulbapedia. Back then, we did not have Bulbapedia. Back then, we didn't have breeding even. So if you wanted, like, the Squirtle, for instance, you can't just, like, have your friend trade over their Blastoise and then breed it. You would have to head a Squirtle to get a Squirtle. You know? You know, and that's just the starters. That is just the beginning of this massive cluster screw. We also had the shit to deal with the legendary Pokemon that you can only get sometimes through glitches, like Mew. Yeah, okay. We all tried the truck. You know, the old, you know, remember the old truck glitch where some, you know, some kid on the playground tells you, hey, dude, I heard that if you can go into the SSN, if you can save at this exact point, go here and you strength on a truck, you get Mew. And then, you know, you go home and you try it like 100 times and you finally get it right, then you use it, and your payoff is just like, oh, Yeah, great. I get nothing. Yeah, that's your payoff. But yeah, there was Mew, there was freaking Celebi. Yeah, Celebi, which really got screwed over in the American version because there's no way to catch Celebi in the American version. Cannot happen without hacking the game or getting a cheating device or using an emulator. Cannot happen. Because the only way to get Celebi was through a pre-distributed Nintendo event. And the Nintendo event, I think, was only a thing in Japan, and what would happen is they would distribute a GS ball, and the GS ball would like lead you to get Celebi, or lead you to like the Celebi event in the Elex Forest. We didn't get anything like that in the American version. Even if you did use a hacking device or an emulator, and you brought the GS ball into the game, it's completely useless. So the only way to get Celebi, even if you are cheating, is to just use a random Pokemon finding glitch. That's the only way. I mean, random Pokemon finding code, like, you know, like the Game Genie or whatever, like Game Shark. That's the only way you're going to find him. Wait, is Celebi a girl or a boy? No, it's a legendary, so it doesn't have a gender. It looks like a girl. I'm just gonna call it a girl. But yeah, I'm talking like shit like that. It's just like, I feel sorry. Like, can you imagine the poor bastard that has literally been awake for days on end, weeks, I mean, like grabbing every single Pokemon, getting the Larvitar, evolving the Larvitar, snail's pace up to level 55 to get a Tyranitar, you know, catching Ho-Oh, catching Lugia, which, by the way, that's easy. That's cake compared to all the other Pokemon you have to catch and level up, you know, at a snail's pace. You know, breaking every rock, climbing every mountain, surfing every inch of the globe, fishing every inch of the globe. Finally, he gets every single one through trading and blood and sweat and just, boom, sorry, bro, you need a Celebi. Oh, okay, well, how do I get a Celebi? Ha, fuck you, you can't! You know? Ooh, that's your Celebi right here. That's your Celebi. But the sad thing really is the payoff we get for it, and that's just usually a certificate. So yeah, you know what? I did it. In Generation 1, I have my emulator, I got my Pokemon Red, I used a code. And it still took me a long time, because there was 151 of them, but using the code, I caught every single Pokemon in that entire game, went to the guy, he gives you a little certificate that you can print out with a little add-on for the Game Boy, which, by the way, the Game Boy printer would print out the certificate in a very blocky fashion, and it would be like a receipt paper. That would basically be like a receipt paper that I give at work. You know, it would be super thin, and it'd just be this little tiny certificate. And all it would say is, you know, you've collected every single Pokemon in the game, congratulations, the Game Freak staff. That's all it would say. And, you know, I've complained about this before, but that is such a waste of our time. It's not worth it. Now, in Generation 5, I've never played Gen 4, but in Generation 5, I believe it was helped out because Juniper actually gives you, like, a shiny stone or something, some charm at the end of the game to increase the likelihood of finding shiny Pokemon. See, that's a good bonus. That's something to actually strive for, because if you like love the game that much and you still want to play it even after collecting every Pokemon, I guess the Game Freak fact decided, well, I guess the only thing that they want to do after they collect every single Pokemon is the shiny, so I guess we can throw in a shiny charm. I mean, the shiny charm thing is still kind of, you know, worthless because it brings down the option, like, I think it's like 1 in 8,000 something chance to find a shiny, and the shiny charm brings it down to like 1 in 4,000. Like, it's still an insanely high number. They could have made it something easier. They could have made it like 1 in 20, 1 in 30, because you still have to go back and collect every one, so, I mean, really, it's just the payoff needs to be a little bit more. I mean, I know what you're thinking is like, well, what could they possibly give you, Matt? I mean, is that like you defeat the game and they give you a little note and says like, send a postcard to this address and we'll send you $50 or something? Like, well, actually, you know, that would actually be an appropriate response. I mean, yeah, I mean, really would. Because then you could be like, hey, bud, get check it out. I collected every Pokemon. That would be a freaking incentive, or you know, something a little bit more worth it. Or hey, how about this? How about they give you the same address and you have to enter like a proof code or something, and then you enter in the code and they send you a prize. They send you like a little Pokemon plushie or a little mini trophy. Something physical, aside from just a scrap of receipt paper that just says, hey, buddy, you just wasted a week of your life. So yeah, I'm gonna try it just because it seems more fun to me now. I mean, back then it was a trial. It wasn't fun. It was just something like, we can do this, man. We can do this, Jake. We can do this, brother in arms. Yeah, that was my friend Jake. We I had gold, he had silver, and we tried for probably a good solid week or two, and that's a long time in kid years. In kid years, that's like a good 10 years in kid time to try to collect every Pokemon, and we I think we hit the railroad because, well, we started off with like, oh, we can trade them over, so we traded over all our Pokemon. Like, I traded over my Haunter, I got a Gengar, he traded over his his Kadabra got Alakazam, and then after the novelty of that wore off, after we were like busting our ass like every day after school trying to level up every single Pokemon in our parties, and you know, and at one point, I think what really brought it down was at one point I'm like, okay, buddy, we need to get the I need to get a Chikorita, and I mean I know like wait did he have a Chikorita? Whatever. I needed to get his starter, and I didn't know about breeding yet. I didn't even know that was a thing. And he's just like, well, I need your Cyndaquil. And I'm like, yeah, well, all I have is a freaking, all I have is a Typhlosion. Well, all I have is a freaking Magnolium. I'm like, alright, so somebody's gonna have to erase their game then and start over. I'm like, I'm not erasing my game. I'm like, yeah, well, you have to, bro. I mean, we're not gonna... And what about the Totodile? What about the Totodile, Jake? I don't know about the fucking Totodile. So that's basically what brought it to a halt there. I mean, if we knew about breeding, it would have solved the whole problem, but we didn't. I couldn't breed with my friend Jake. So yeah, it's the most disappointing thing in my life. But that's just a little rant to complain about Game Freak and the Pokemon games and the grip they grab you in, and they just... And the never-ending grip that haunts you to adulthood. Just like, you know, I dug these out of my basement the other day, and I looked at them, and I'm just like, so many memories, so much fun, you know, staying, you know, like coming home after school, booting up the old Game Boy, sitting in front of this, I had a lamp I had like a little nightstand and a lamp in my living room, and I'd always sit down at that lamp and I'd play it every day. I don't know why I picked the lamp of all places. I could have just picked the couch, but you know, that's just like one of my fondest memories. You know, coming home playing that game. You know, long summers, cold winters. There was a good year period where I lost this game. I got this for my 8th birthday, and I lost it for a good year. And I remember one day my mom cleaned out my room, and she found this, and I was so ecstatic. I must have played this damn thing till dawn. So many memories, so much fun, but man, way too much of a mind fuck. Way too much. I kind of want to play this again, though. Crap.